Okay, trying something a little bit different this time. I've pre-recorded my gameplay, and I'm going to be commenting on it as I'm watching it play out. I'm not actually playing it as I'm talking to you right now. So, let's now begin this gameplay, going into the 6th palace. And the statue, of course, has a red jar, but I didn't bother getting it this time because I just want to get in and get out. Now, as you enter, you will see you can go to the left or to the right. Doesn't really matter which direction you go in, because either way, you don't find anything really worthwhile. There's that pea bag there, but with your levels maxed out, it's not really necessary. And then you come to this locked door. If you did not get the master key in the town of Kasuto, you would not have been able to get past that door, because there are no keys in this dungeon, except for when you beat certain enemies that are coming up. And I'm getting my butt kicked by this Doom Knocker here. Alright, Blue Iron Knuckle greets us on the next screen, and take this time to life up. The smart thing to do is to kill it, but not knock it into that pit you see back there in the distance, because if you do, it'll be back the next time you come here. Now, the pits you see there take you on an endless loop of 4 screens. Eventually you'll come back around to where you fell in. And one more after that. And there you see. Now, this is where you'd be if you had jumped over that pit to begin with. And another Blue Iron Knuckle behind the door, just to make your life a little more enjoyable. That one you can back up against the wall. He's not too bad. Now we get into the fun part coming up here. Some statues that shoot bullets at you, and whiz robes that fire spells at you. And this is quite an impressive little gauntlet. And in here, the trick is to try and climb up these stairs of breakable blocks without freeing the Blue Iron Knuckle. And if you haven't leveled up completely, there's some pea bags down there to tempt you. And these bubbles will make your life miserable. Smart thing to do is to jump across here. Now, this level right here, this screen, is pretty nasty, and I'll tell you why. Now, stop here. You see this third column with the statue on it? Stop right here. Cast a jump spell immediately, and I'll show you why. Watch this Moa carefully. Did you see that? The flames dropped right through the floor. That's right, there's a false floor there, and it'll set you back quite a ways if you fall into it. So, and you can't just ferry your way through it because of that wall of blocks coming up. Now we're into the area where the item is, and this is technically the first boss you fought in the game, although if you had followed the usual pattern, you'd have seen this guy before. It's the boss of the 3rd palace. It's a Blue Iron Knuckle on horseback. And what you want to do is you want to jump and downward stab. If you do that twice at this level, it takes more on lower levels, then you'll knock him off his horse, and you can fight him pretty much like a regular Blue Iron Knuckle, although he only takes 2 hits after that, so he's a little bit easier. Anyway, you'll soon beat him, grab his key, it's the only way you get keys in this palace, and get the cross that's right behind him. Now, with the cross, you will be able to see enemies that were otherwise invisible, including all the enemies in the graveyard section, which you will eventually have to go through. Anyway, we're now done in here for now. So let's head back the way we came, and I got lucky there. I jumped over where I knew that little pit was. If I didn't know that, that would have been problematic. And as you see, I'm running pretty low on life, so I guess the smart thing for me to do is try and get some more life in me here. Deal with the Doom Knocker. Or get some more magic, I should say. So we're trying to see if we can farm some enemies here for magic jars. Maybe we'll get lucky and someone will drop a red one. Some Stalfos to deal with. And we're hurting pretty bad at this point. I think we're pretty much toast. Unless... Nope, no luck there. And the Moa will not make things very easy either. This is where you would have been, by the way, if you'd fallen through the false floor. This is this room right here. Ooh, and I got burned right there. So, one bout of epilepsy later. Well, the one good thing about that is now we have full life and full magic, so we're more than willing to get out of here and back to the overworld. And when we get to the overworld, we will have only one more little detail to take care of. So let's get out of here now. Activate the jump spell. Very easy to get out of that pit now. As far as I know, the jump spell's the only way to get out of a pit like that. You can't, unless you are very, very, very lucky with the timing. Once more through the Statue and Wizrobe Gauntlet. I'm not doing so well. I'm just in a hurry to get out of here. I think that's why I'm not doing so hot here. And should be easy at this point, because we've dealt with the... and see if we can clear this. With the jump spell, it's easy. Don't want to waste time going through the cycle again, so let's just get out of here. Ah, hello, Doom Knocker. I forgot you were there. If you cast a Reflect spell, by the way, that will block Doom Knocker's mace, and also reflect the Wizrobe spells back at them, as we saw in earlier dungeons. Being able to block the mace with the Reflect spell is something I hadn't shown you before. Anyway, now we're at the elevator, so let's back to the surface and get out of here. We now have every item that we need. There's only one thing left to do. There is one last spell to get. And to get it, we cross the bridge over here to this little town right over there. And since I'm in a hurry, we refill my life, and then cast the fairy spell just to save time, because this is a pretty nasty bridge coming up. Pretty nasty bridge, all things considered. With flying skulls and everything else, and tricky jumps, and right over here. This town. I told you you'd seen the last town in the game. Well, that's not technically true. There's this little place here called Kasuto. This is Old Kasuto. You wondered why there was a new Kasuto? Well, this is why. Old Kasuto was overrun by ghosts, and there's nothing left here except for one old man. If you had come here before going to New Kasuto, he'd have told you where to look for New Kasuto. Now that we've gone here after going there, he will teach you the 8th and last spell in the game. Most powerful magic, he calls it. This is called Thunder. Thunder magic affects every enemy on the screen and does tremendous damage. However, it is only absolutely necessary to use it on the final boss. Well, the next to final boss anyway. It'll all make sense when we get there. So now... oh, forgot about that. There is absolutely nothing else in this town. There's just more ghosts to fight and empty buildings. But now we're done. We now have every item, every spell. We're maxed out, and all we now have left to do is go through the palaces one more time and replace the crystals and beat the bosses. That's what we're going to do. In our next video, the boss rush begins.